Go to the group. I was recording. Okay. Look at my dog, Dr. Hausen. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Does anyone want to talk about the challenge that you submitted?
Someone else can start because I did it, and then listening to the WebEx yesterday, I was like, perhaps I did not do it correctly.
I haven't had a chance to watch the recording yet.
Me either.
So
Okay.
what made you think that you didn't do it correctly?
Just like listening to like the types of sources and like the assessment. I didn't pick a very good assessment, I feel like, for my kid to show mastery of like the project. I was like, they'll have mastered it whenever they answer the questions. Like, I don't know what this is like. I didn't have them like come up with like a product to like share with people or in like a platform for them to share it, which I feel like I probably should have. I'm just like, well, they'll answer it. The crop thing, I was like, whenever she comes up with a plan to make crops healthier and cheaper, like that's going to be the answer. But I wasn't very specific in my final product, like my assessment. So it's like,
Well, and she said, you know, like I know Josephine and I's mentor, I mean, she right away mentioned a rubric. And so she kind of, you know, was, I don't want to say anti-rubric, but at the same time, it can be useful for some students. Like if you have a student who isn't highly motivated, perhaps an underachiever, you know, that having some type of a rubric ahead of time, because it did say, and Weinbrenner said, you know, they should help create if they helped make the project, they should create a rubric. But she did say she liked checklists.
mm-hmm.
And then I mentioned that Renzulli's, I guess, the student assessment or student product assessment form, I was using that as a guideline, but it was more generic. So she was just saying that rubrics kind of put the cap on a project. So, but you know, like Renzulli's thing, you know, you're being assessed on effort and originality and quality of the resources. And I feel like if the kids know ahead of time that that's what they're looking for, and maybe not necessarily, you know, check this box or it had to be this thing. You're looking for the creativity piece and the out of the box piece, or, you know, then that could be, you know, an okay rubric. It was my understanding of what she said.
Yeah, I was there for that part too. Yeah, that's what I felt like. For like your high kids, you shouldn't give them a rubric because then they'll be like, oh well, I only have to do this, and that's only what they'll do. But now I have a question. Like, what if you show them, like, okay, here's a model for like what I want you to do. Like, say they're making it a brochure. Is it okay to be like, here's an example of the brochure, or should you just leave it open-ended? Because what if they look at the brochure and they think of a brochure and they do it completely wrong than what you said? Whereas if you give them a model, they're able to like look at it and be like, okay, this is what I should do. But then are you putting a cap on it? Because if you show them a model, are they only going to do that?
My gut says that you would be putting a cap on it.
Mm-hmm.
What grade though?
Like
fourth grade? Third or fourth?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. That's a really good question.
Because like all the time,
I think I would probably introduce them to like Publisher or something that offers a way to create a brochure.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you haven't actually shown them a brochure, but they have somewhat of a template that they're working off of.
Mm-hmm.
So that there are some parameters, but the creativity is entirely in their hands.
Mm-hmm. What was that website?
Well, it's not a website. I think it's
Publisher.
Microsoft, but it's Publisher.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Something that leaves it kind of, like Jordan was saying too, like kind of open-ended.
Because like I want to give them maybe not an example, but like help steer them in the right direction, because I don't want them to spend all this time on it and then give it. And somebody mentioned that WebEx yesterday too, like spending all this time on it and then turning in a project and having it be wrong, or like.
But she was pretty adamant that it is okay to tell them you did this wrong. You need to go back to the drawing board or do a part or a section over.
But then I think of my kids and like we've talked in the course about like being a perfectionist. Like you tell a kid, sorry, this is wrong, do it again. Like, and they're a perfectionist. Like, what's that gonna mean for them? Which I mean,
That's-
I'm all for telling kids this is wrong, do it again. Like I don't care. But
Right.
like if they're like, what are they gonna? I mean, obviously they'll have to go back and fix it, but I don't know.
And I think some, some talent development teachers are in a good place where they have the kids from grades 3 to 5. So maybe in third grade, that's something they can kind of work on like piece by piece. And by the time the kids are in fourth or fifth grade, they really know how to kind of drive down that path.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good.
But I definitely think it's a learning process
Mm-hmm.
for them too.
I know one of the things I was doing for assessing, and I don't think she necessarily said it was wrong, but is I shared, I had my student make a Google Doc and share it with me. And so that's where we're kind of like posting all of their research questions and then answers to them, and then new questions they come up with along with like sources. So like, she shot some sources to me. And so now after I've done this project, I can, share with her the links and things and articles and stuff that I found. So that's a way to assess is the research like moving forward or whatever.
And I think they get excited about it when you start to have that dialogue back and forth. Like, oh, I found this, website that you might find helpful. And then they look at it, but then they end up finding some more things on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And then that dialogue gets started, which is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Looking at what kind of sources did you guys include for your challenge? Because I like put a bunch of sources, but then I was like, oh crap, maybe I did not do the sources. Because I put like sources for her to like research.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
Is that what I was supposed to do?
Hope so, because that's what I did too.
Because the sources or the stuff you sent, Stacy, I felt was more like ideas for activities.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap, that was not what I did for my sources. I did like the FDA and like the U.S. Department of Agriculture and like different like pesticide websites and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't include those in my, after I went and looked at them, they're good, like, a lot of them are good product resources.
Yeah,
in the end. But I did I did Magnet Schools of America, and I did the Magnet Office and CMS, and I did some resources about like how important it is for kids to have physical activity every single day.
Okay.
And then I did some on how a elementary school or certified teacher can also become a physical education teacher as an add-on. So I did sources like that.
Okay.
That's cool. That's cool too. I did like, based on the directions that she had up at the top, she kind of mentioned some, like articles and experts and mentors. So I just like to keep my head organized, just had those bulleted out. And then I added bullets underneath of like, possible mentor, and some of like there was an article section, and then there was maybe some like publishing option, like different resources for different categories.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the same.
Yeah. What about for your assessments? Like I said, I don't feel like mine was very good. I feel like I totally could have come up with a better assessment than what I did. I was like, they're going to answer the question. Like, what more do you want? But like, what kind of assessments did you guys come up with?
I feel like I kind of steered in that same direction. I just said he should be able to demonstrate these areas of knowledge. Like he should be able to tell me about electric eels and about the, I guess, power of their shock. He should be able to tell me about alternative energy sources and how they're harnessed so that he can apply that to potentially harnessing the electric eel power. And then I said, because he just decided he wanted to make a Google Slides presentation. I gave him that big old list of products and he chose Slides. So I said that, I would grade him on his presentation. And but yeah, the assessment piece, I basically just listed things I might put in a rubric, like he should be able to demonstrate knowledge of this, knowledge of this, knowledge of this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I suggested using Padlet just because it's kind of like it's almost like a big sticky. Are you guys familiar with Padlet?
Mm-hmm.
So it's digital, but it's almost like you just had sticky notes everywhere, but you can make it look real organized, and you can add links and you can add videos, and
Wow.
You can type on it and put pictures and that sort of thing. So I said that would be a good place for like organizing information. But of course, designing a magnet school that's a big endeavor for a 5th grader. So,
Oh, yeah.
I kind of just put in like the part of the assessment would be just conferencing, that you've answered kind of these smaller questions. And if the final product is just to be able to educate the audience, then I think that it has served its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so I guess I feel a little bit better now after talking to you guys, because I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I felt the same way, so I'm glad.
And then a lot of my standards I included were like writing and speaking and listening, just because those covered like what she is going to be doing. So
Same.
Well, and I thought that was cool. Like when I started, I know she doesn't want us to focus on the standards. So like when I actually started listing out all the standards that I thought it was going to hit, I thought that was really, because I really could have just kept adding standards.
yeah.
So that's kind of reassuring. Like that's been my big aha from this thing is like when you're willing to give up some of the control of guiding them, individually with every single lesson, all the different stuff that can come out of it from them, not me. And so.
But looking at those standards, and mine covered a ton. I probably could have kept looking, like you said, Robin. I probably could have kept looking and added more. And she's gonna hate that I'm saying this, but like looking at those standards, like none of them are tested standards.
Yeah.
So like, and while it's fine that girl, the girl that I chose, that whatever I used, it's fine that she's not focusing on those because she already has scored, compacted out of all that stuff, like that we are using that time for. But it did I feel like it would freak me out to have so many kids working on stuff that's not tested, because like I know you're not supposed to teach to the standards, but like at the end of the day, like those kids have to take the EOG, and that's how I'm evaluated as a teacher.
Right.
So like I feel like I'm fine with like her doing it and like a couple other ones doing it, but like if I spent the majority of my instructional time teaching stuff that's not tested, I feel like I don't think it'd be a waste of my time, because it wouldn't, because I'm giving those kids what they need. Obviously they don't need those other standards, but like I don't know. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I think I would just have to find a balance between making sure those speaking and listening and writing, all those standards, and maybe trying to integrate more like content stuff into that. So, yeah.
It's a great launching pad for those really high performing or gifted kids. It certainly is not feasible for the entire class, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But it's certainly great for those kids that do not need to be in those lessons, because they have by far mastered those skills.
Yeah, just let them spread their wings. And I feel like that's something, the more, I think all of us, the more we do this, like the easier it'll be to let the kids do that. But to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is instructional time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. But, okay, well, that's good with the challenge. Anybody else have anything about the challenge? It's all already submitted, so it's not like it matters. Okay, so, and then that's the last challenge we have till next cycle, correct?
Yeah, she said that the next cycle will start March 12th. It was after their spring break, so the finals up on the 10th or the 2nd, so that gives us a nice 10-day off.
Okay.
Yeah, that is nice, because this isn't due until Wednesday, right?
What?
Yes.
Okay. So
Julie, are you writing the next one?
Yeah.
what is there going to be to write?
Okay. Yeah, next Wednesday.
You just have to just summarize what we say here.
Yeah, that's fine.
What?
I said there's not like questions for her to type up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Do you want us to add our thoughts, like post to Google Docs, just to give you a couple bullet points, or just like in bullet points, or do you got it?
Well, if you guys have a chance to do it, that could be helpful, but I can start just typing or writing down some notes just as we talk.
Okay, cool.
I'm trying.
We have plenty of time.
And I guess you do have the video.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Oh, yeah. Duh. Yeah, I'm good.
But I don't mind typing, I don't mind putting some bullets down if that, because I know that's helpful.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, totally. If you guys want to, absolutely. If
Yeah.
not, I'll watch the video.
How, I don't see a countdown on this one like it did last time. Is it counting down?
Yeah, I think it kind of comes up when you're getting maybe 10 minutes left or something.
Okay.
I think
How,
there's a certain
how
point
much
it pops
have
up.
we done so far? Does it say?
I was trying to look for that too. I don't see anything.
I bet it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Your bandwidth is low, Robin. It
What?
just popped up and said that. I don't know. It says your network bandwidth is low. And now you're frozen.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's been telling me that my connection is unstable, so I've been nervous that mine's going to shut off.
Oh, well, so far so good.
Good.
Oh dear.
Okay, let's talk about in the WebEx yesterday, she talked about the ISTE standards. Did you guys look at those?
Oh, yes.
They just reminded me of like the 21st century skills that we've talked about,
Mhm.
like in like all my college courses.
Yeah, agreed.
I was like, oh, look, collaboration, technology, like all the stuff that I feel like you're supposed to be integrating.
Yeah. Trying to pull it up now.
It reminded me of the digital citizenship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. Do y'all want to hear some of the stuff that she said in the WebEx?
That'd be great. Yeah.
She said housing, quote unquote, or put the students in the driver's seat, kind of like as a knowledge constructor. And this follows Renzulli's type 2 taxonomy. And then again, I also wrote, don't teach to the standards, need to know what they are doing. Oh, I think it was Lisa was saying something like, she's like, why do we teach these? And she said something like, they do need to know what they are doing or why they're doing it. I can't remember what the question was though.
Oh yeah. She said it was important to like to have them know like what they're doing, why they're doing it, like how to apply to real world, but like they don't have to know, oh, this is standard.
Right.
Blah, blah,
Okay,
blah.
that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
And like to have your like objectives posted on the board, but like have them focus on like the why, the real world application, and not like, oh, we're doing fractions on a number line because we're tested on it. Like, okay, when are fractions on a number line going to help us?
Yeah.
I did think of that when I started fractions, like, why do fractions really matter? And they came up with all these like standard things or whatever. And I was like, well, has anybody ever thought about medicine? I mean, what can happen if you get the wrong dosage of medicine or, stuff like that. And so that, I don't know, I think that made it relevant for them. And cooking,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, but yeah, I think she brought that up. I thought it was a good point too. Because like the students will be able to do this. Okay, but why should students be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why does
That
that
makes
matter?
a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
Mhm. Is anybody going to the conference March 8th for the last class?
Yeah, I think I am.
Are you?
Yeah, the TD coordinator says that they pretty much go every year. So yeah, I think I will be going.
Are you going to go that morning?
Yeah.
I am too. We could ride together if you want to,
Oh, cool.
maybe. Except
we
you're
all-
going.
Well,
What?
yeah, I mean, we kind of live close, but we actually, of course, have our family involvement night that night. So I'll have to drive back to school after the conference.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm doing that too, Julie. I'm not
Are you?
saying. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll hook up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Cool.
that's cool. So what else did she talk about? Well, let's look at these standards. Anybody else want to make any comments about the standards? I just thought looking at them and reading like the I guess it's the unpacking where it like talks more about the standards. I thought was really cool, and I feel like maybe like as I look more at my lessons, like just making a goal of like maybe applying one of like the one part of the breakdown standards. Like I'm just looking at this,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Apply existing knowledge to generate new ideas, products, or processes. Okay, how can I change my lessons to integrate that
Mhm.
into at least some lesson that I'm doing?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And like integrating more collaboration and like, oh my gosh, I like group work, but I also hate it at the same time because like I'm like, it gets so loud and all the kids talk over each other. And I'm just gonna have to get over that. But like, that's one of the things I hate. So like, I appreciate collaboration and group work and stuff, but I also hate it.
Yeah.
But I like grading it because it's only 11 instead of 23. So
Mhm.
Well, and I have been trying to figure out a way to incorporate like group work, like you're saying, because I don't like it when it's really loud too, because then I can't really figure out who's socializing and who's not.
right.
But if they have to collaborate, like if you put them in a shared Google Doc and give them questions, then they could be doing the kind of like what we have to do, or what we were, Julie, how we did the first semester or whatever. And that collaboration piece is more on the computer,
Yeah.
and they can all be
I
typing.
love that.
That's cool. Yeah. I never thought of that. That's a
Because
great
my
idea.
kids all have Chromebooks anyway, and they know how to share stuff because they share stuff with me all the time.
Right.
So like having them share stuff with each other and work on it. Oh my gosh, I love that. That was really cool.
That would be fun. But I haven't I haven't done it yet, but I know I want to do it.
But I'm also nervous if they learn how to share stuff with each other and like typing up stuff and sharing it and like.
They do on the document. You're shared in their group, so you'll be in their group and you can see what they're writing.
Yeah, but what if they make it something else and leave me out of it and just share with themselves?
Well, they probably will at some point.
I'm sure I could totally see them doing that.
That is true.
But yeah, I really like that idea. That's cool. Because that way they can have group work and they can be quiet.
Yep. We shared something on Google
Yeah.
Doc or Google Classroom. Have you guys used that?
Mhm.
I've never used it, but
Yeah,
I've
I
heard
use
about
that.
it.
Julie, have you used it?
Yeah. I just started this year and I love it.
Yeah, because you don't have to make the copy. They can read it, and then they can even turn work in and share. And there's like a turn in button, and it does it through Google too.
Yeah, I've heard. I have like friends at my school who use it, but then people use Canvas too. And I'm
Every
like,
time I've been out, especially, I put everything there.
Yeah, I've used Google Classroom for a
I
number
haven't
of years, but I
Canvas
tried
enough
using.
to know what to do with it.
Something's off with my.
no, I think Julie's like, her face is like frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, that's why I
Okay,
didn't
you're
know
back
she was
now.
talking, and then I was talking over her.
So,
Sorry.
like, her mouth wasn't moving, and so like I couldn't tell if she was talking or like I don't like what's going on. You're good.
She was
though.
just smiling at us.
I know she's happy. We good.
Is it better? Am I back?
Yeah, you're
I
good.
don't know.
You're back from your.
Your bandwidth must have been low too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Google Classroom is cool, and I know Canvas is I think pretty similar. Like they upload stuff, and I just need to take the time to play around with it so I can be able to be confident enough to show them.
Yeah, same.
But I'm all for making less copies because I hate making copies.
hmm
You guys have to make your own copies?
Yes.
Yeah. You don't? Wow.
We have a
We're not
committee.
allowed to make our own copies.
Really?
Nope, can't touch the copy machine.
I'm like the master copier. I get in there, people have broken it, and I go in and like fix
Yeah.
them all. I had ink all over my hands yesterday because it was like, fix the jam. And I was like, going in. All over, like, ugh. I hate that. People use them and then break them and then leave them broken.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, just go ask somebody or ask me because I can fix all of them. So then I'm in there, we have like
Paper
3 of
jam,
them.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, seriously. And like, I opened one, it was out of ink. I'm like, that is so easy. Just go get a thing of ink and stick it in there. Like, other stuff I get, whatever, like, it gets messed up. Like, but like, stuff like that is so easy. So then I get them all going, I get all 3 of them going, and people come in, and I'm like, you will wait because I fixed this, so I'm using it. But look, I fixed the stupid copier, so I'm going to use it.
hmm
You can wait. They're probably the ones who broke it.
Probably.
Okay, so I think, yeah, that's good on the ITSE standards. I feel like, Felix, oh my gosh, dog almost fell off my lap. It's stressing me out. But yeah, I feel like as long as like, I think those are good standards to try and integrate more.
Did you
Yeah.
get the
They're
message
very
that we're gonna cut off in 10 minutes? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means we've been going for 30 minutes, right? Because if it says
Yeah.
40 minutes meeting.
Yeah, that must be.
Okay,
So-
so let's wrap this up.
So like the last one said the perspectives and resources. So like from chapter 8, assessment and technology, Jordan, going off of what you said, like less grading or whatever, I liked some of those strategies that were in there. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Feel free to talk more about that.
It's like the show me, like, where they're doing the signals on your chest or whatever.
I did that today. I
Did you do? I did that too. Yeah.
did it with
Um,
or thumbs, but instead of the 5 fingers, but it worked pretty well. I liked it.
it said, oh, wait, let me try to find it. Oh, roll the die. So like when you're grading, you just roll the die. So they don't know what you're grading, but you can roll the die 5 times or something. And then those are the numbers of the questions that you grade, but they don't know it ahead of time. So they have to do all of it. And you only check the ones that you rolled the dice for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they were saying they had a 17-sided die or something,
Ugh.
but you could do something.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, duh. 15-sided die. Yeah, that's really cool. I definitely would like to try that too. It's a great idea.
Sure, you can find a
Anything else?
15-sided die online.
Amazon. Yeah, that's cool.
Mhm.
So we good?
Yes.
Did we hit everything?
Think so. Professional insights you have gleaned, perspectives and resources, real-time discussion, and the challenge that you submitted.
I need to be more willing to let go of control. But I've been learning that this whole course
Yeah,
I'm in the same boat.
it's hard.
and not be as worried about the standards for on the EOG and stuff, because I'm compacting them out. So I know that they're going to be fine, but like
Yeah.
not worrying about that.
Yeah. I'm the same way. My 3 or 4 that I compacted, I'm not worried about them. But yeah, like you said before, like I don't know if I'm ready to like have more than just that little group just yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is right. It seems like Hausen said at one point that like even when you should still have like extension days or whatever. So like I put it up on the board. Anybody who has a real world problem to solve can like make an appointment and we can start the process. Now I'm not as concerned checking in with like some of my EC kids or something like that, but they're all excited about it. So what like if I just make sure that I've got a designated day where everybody's doing extension, then they can, feel like they're part of the process too.
Yeah, which we've talked about is really important to like not just giving TD work to your TD kids, like giving some stuff to everybody.
Right.
Everybody gets TD work today.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's hit stop recording.
All right, you got it.